Hello, Youngstown Game Jammers. Jeff and Kendra asked if I, Jesse Schell, would be able to join you today to give you some tips about how to do a great game jam. And so here I am. So I'm going to give you 5 big tips today for how to make the most of your April Fool's game jam. All right, so first thing I'm going to advise, number 1, you want to pick something new. Pick something that hasn't been done before. Don't do a bunch of jumping and shooting games. We've seen those a million times. We know that those can be done. Pick something nobody's done before. Make the most of your opportunity for this game jam. A great way to do that is when you do your brainstorming, figuring out what you're going to do, is to do it in quadrants, do it in dimensions. Pick some different categories, brainstorm on them separately, and then mix and match them. Here's an example, 4 quadrants I like to use based on the elemental tetrad right here. So your technologies, maybe you'd pick something like tilt sensors or VR or mouse. And then maybe your art style, you might brainstorm on that a little bit. You might think about black and white or pastels or photography. For your rules, you might start by crossing out jumping and shooting. And when I say rules, I mean verbs, the verbs you're going to be doing in the game. So you might get rid of jumping and shooting, but what about a game about eating or a game about falling? Or who's ever done a game about humming or a game about stealing? Like, come up with interesting verbs. And then story ideas. Everybody's always got story ideas. I don't know, maybe you got a story about 2 boys who turn into 1 frog, or a girl who sells pencils, or how does soup feel when a spoon gets kind of poked into it, or a story about a sad vampire, right? Now, any of these things here could be great games on their own, but when you mix and match, that's when you come up with really interesting stuff. So what if I do a game that involves a tilt sensor, and I decide I'm going to do it in black and white, and it's a story about 2 boys turning into a frog, and the verb is going to be, say, falling, right? So now how do I do this? Like, maybe it's a game about a frog falling down into a well, and that's why everything's only in black and white. And you know, while he's falling, he's trying to slow himself down using his tongue, maybe. Or maybe I'm going to do a VR game that uses lines only, and it's going to be all about a girl selling pencils, and the mechanic is stealing. And like, how would that work exactly? Anyway, when you brainstorm like this with lots of different pieces and parts, it's very fast and you can get things done really quickly. And so, second tip, really important tip, is going to be keep it simple, right? It's really tempting to do something really big, really elaborate. You want to do something great. You want to do something complex. Don't do those things. You only have a couple days. You want to pick one thing and do it really well. It takes bravery. You got to be brave to be simple, but do that. Dare to be simple. Pick some mechanic, pick some style you like, and just go for it and do that. And when someone says, ooh, should we add this? Should we add that? Like, no, don't add those things. Keep it simple. A lot of the best games in the world are really simple. And then related to that, get your game working fast. Get it working as fast as you possibly can. Ideally, you want to be able, if you could have a working prototype Friday night, oh my God, that would be amazing. You would have the whole weekend to make it great. What I'll give you as a limit is if by the time Saturday Night Live comes on, it's 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night, and you still don't have a working prototype, you are in trouble. So you should be thinking about that. How am I going to, by Saturday Night Live coming on, how am I going to have a working prototype happening so I can spend the rest of the time making my game great? So get your game working incredibly fast. Now, when you get your game working incredibly fast, things are going to go wrong, right? You're going to get this thing working, and it's not going to be quite what you wanted. It's not quite your vision. It isn't quite what you wanted, and you can fuss about that, but you shouldn't do that. Instead, what you do is step number 4 here, embrace the quirk. There are going to be weird, quirky things that show up in your half-finished, not really working, broken game. Some of them are going to be hilarious. And if you find those quirky things that are just sort of silly and funny and cute, and you weave them into your game, if you leave yourself open to it, so that weird, crazy thing where the character like goes jumping like off the screen, wait, we got rid of jumping. Anyway, it goes flying off the screen, then and you weave that into your game so that it's one of the best and most hilarious parts in your game, you'll have done something great. So you're slapping these things together super fast, you're getting it working. When you find something wrong, you're going to take advantage of it. And you're going to want to do that because if you've done all those things, if you have if you've been creative, kept it simple, put this thing together really fast, and then embrace the parts of it that are kind of cool parts that you didn't intend, then you're going to have something that people are interested in, but it's not going to quite hang together yet, and that's okay, because you're going to have some time left. If you built it quickly, you will have time to polish, and this is really important for you. You need to be able to leave time so that you can do some polishing. Sunday is perfect time for polishing, but if you're spending Sunday just getting your game even working at all, then that's going to be, you'll be a little disappointed. Your game will just barely be coming together. But if you leave time so that you can kind of add some slick little moments, make that first 30 seconds of your game just like really interesting and clever and incredible, then that's going to be a game that's really memorable coming out of the jam. Anyway, have a great time with the Game Jam. Sorry I can't be there, but I know you guys are going to make some awesome stuff. So enjoy yourself. Jesse Schell signing off.